Have you considered using Facebook ads to grow your social media following? If so, I'll be revealing the basics to leveraging Facebook ads to make a greater impact online. Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Alec Casson here, and if you're new to Digital Ministry Mastery, we provide digital ministry leaders with the tactics they need to create greater impact and income online. Because I say it all the time, but I really believe that if we're working hard to provide a lot of value in the world, then we should be compensated for what we do. I also believe that you shouldn't have to rely on sponsorships or going viral in order to see success online. So when I took my online ministry and my podcast from making like $0 and making like zero impact, not just like in my own life, but in the lives of my audience, to then generating over like $12,000 in revenue in less than 6 months, one of the major keys to achieving that was running Facebook ads. There's a lot of information, out there when it comes to using Facebook ads, and there's also a lot of like crazy technical garbage too. I tried using software like Google Tag Manager. I was even learning how to code, and to be honest, after doing all of these really complicated techniques, what I found was that just keeping it simple was way better than making it more complicated than it needed to be. And now, with the restrictions that Apple has imposed on tracking user data, it's even harder to track certain metrics that used to make it like really easy and seamless for the Facebook Ads Manager platform to be able to get your ads to the right people. And then even too, like Facebook is also further restricting like who you can target on their platform as well. But fortunately, like I said before, it's better to just keep things simple. So before I show you the method or like break down the method that I applied to my own podcast, my own online ministry in order to hit that goal of making $12,000 in less than 6 months, pardon me, but I wanted to show you how people have been able to use Facebook ads to target the right customers. So the model that I'm going to show you or explain is what a lot of people refer to as kind of like creating like a funnel approach. It's where, at the top, you could like imagine like the picture of a funnel. At the top of the funnel, it's very wide, it's very large. And then as you go down further and further, it narrows further to like this singular point. So you can imagine, with the wide top, it makes it very easy to gather a large amount of things. Stuff's not going to be spilling over the edge. And for Facebook ads, when you would run an ad for the first time, it's typically going to be reaching a very broad audience. Facebook is just showing this ad to anyone and everyone who meets like the general like parameters that you gave it. So if you told Facebook just to show this ad to men who are over 25 years old and are interested in golf, it's going to show your ad to every single type of person like that. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the type of person who's going to buy what you have, but it's going to be anyone who's a man over 25 that likes golf or expressed some type of interest in golf. So you can imagine it's a very large market. So whether or not those people like what you have to offer is something that Facebook doesn't know yet, but it begins to figure that out depending on who's clicking on your ads. So it makes this general outreach, which is that broad top part of the funnel that you could imagine. And then as Facebook begins to better understand the audience, this funnel begins to narrow down. And now you can target very specific groups of people who may have interacted with your ad. They could have watched a certain percentage, like if it's a video, they could watch a certain percentage of the video. Or you can even target people who like clicked on it and then maybe gave you their email but didn't purchase. So as you can imagine, running ads to people who engaged with your previous ad could be very promising because the person who sees an ad and then clicks on it is more likely to purchase your product or sign up for one of your things than someone who saw the ad and then just, scrolled right past it. So the next level, if you're going to bring it to the next level of your ads, you can then target, people who clicked on it. So before Apple had their updates, Facebook could really easily track things like what pages people visited on your website. It could track how long they were on your website. It could even track whether or not someone added a particular item to their shopping cart. They could be very like if you had someone who went to your website, they added like 10 things to the shopping cart and didn't buy, versus someone who added like nothing to the shopping cart. The person who added nothing is definitely not interested as the person who added 10 things to the cart. So if someone added 10 things, you really want to have your ads focus on that person. But, Apple doesn't really like allow that anymore on their phone. So when you're running ads, you used to be able to create ads that would specifically target people who added an item to their cart, but didn't purchase. And then you could make sure that an ad included things like maybe like a discount code or possibly like more information about the quality or the warranty on the product. So basically, you could provide information to help a customer who is about to purchase, to give them the information they need to make a decision if they should purchase or not. But like I said, Apple updates, it's very unfortunate, but a lot of this tracking is now not possible, and it's unfortunate because a lot of online businesses really relied on this information, and because they don't have that anymore, a lot of these businesses had to shut down. So all the stuff I said prior about having ads target a general audience and then having ads target a more specific audience, again, then going all the way down to having your ads target people who may have visited specific pages on your website, Facebook isn't really favoring this approach anymore. Facebook had to also change how they're doing things in order to accommodate for basically what Apple had did. But, it's okay that this approach doesn't work because it's just, if anything, that old approach was super complicated. And if one thing broke down during the process, then the whole thing would be out of whack. It would just be a pain in the butt to try to fix. So if anything, it's actually a really kind of cool that Facebook and Apple have been kind of pivoting to this new approach. In fact, every social media platform has their own unique, they have their own unique culture, their own unique approach when it comes to running things like ads, or even running just promoting different posts that you put on these social media platforms. So whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, or even Google, the type of ads or content, even the theme, of your ad and the content, it's going to be heavily influenced by what site you're putting it on. So for example, ads on Google, they're going to be way different than ads on Facebook. And you might be wondering well, why is that? Well, Google, imagine you're going on Google. What are you going to do? You're going to look something up. You're looking up how to do X, Y, and Z. What is the best X, Y, Z? So it's a search engine. So when you're showing your ad to someone, it's typically going to be someone who is looking for an answer, or they're looking for information on a specific topic. Therefore, your ad should quickly and clearly address either the problem, the solution, or the information that the person needs in order to make an informed decision. But Facebook, it's a social platform. It's not just a social media platform. People are on there because they're looking for connection. They're looking to build trust. They're looking to be in community. So sometimes people are looking for entertainment, but for the most part, they are looking for a connection, essentially. So when running ads or promoting products, if you're building a relationship and a connection with people first, then, not only is Facebook more ready to, more eager to promote that kind of content or that type of ad, but people are more easily receptive to that type of ad too, because it sort of makes sense in the context of the platform. You could imagine at different events, certain behaviors at certain events are more appropriate than others. A comedian is not going to get a lot of laughs if they show up at a funeral, but if they show up at a bar, it's very different. Or if someone is talking very loudly in a library versus talking loudly on the beach, they're very different. Even the type of clothes, you don't wear a bathing suit in a library versus wearing those things are so out of the ordinary that when people see that, they're turned off by it. They're like, what the heck is this? And the same thing could be true for your ads. It might be a good ad. You might be wearing a really nice bathing suit, but you're in the library, and that's not appropriate. So your ad might just not be in the right place. So, the prior approach of funneling people and narrowing down your audience, this completely lacked the social element to it. So that's why with the ad structure that, I plan on implementing, it's going to be first and foremost focused on building rapport and connection. And that's going to be the main core of it. So this means running ads to free resources, free downloads, free events. I'll even run ads to promote, my Facebook page. Basically, no one will see an ad that's trying to promote anything that will require that, they're not going to see an ad that requires them to pull out their credit card, essentially. I won't even try to get them to, give me their name or their email in the beginning, though. In the beginning, I won't. So rather than a funnel, it kind of, you could imagine, looks more like a journey where every step along the way I am building more trust and I'm proving to the people who are entering my world that, I'm here to basically serve, and I have experience to be able to lead them on this journey. So the thing that's really cool about this is that essentially, like, it should be way less expensive to be running ads to a free product. If people like what they received with the free thing, they'll be given more opportunities with more ads, or they'll be able to like my Facebook page, or follow me on Instagram, or subscribe to the podcast, things like that. So they'll have more opportunities to continue to say yes and to move further along in the journey and to see like the type of content that's being produced. Also, when people like join things like a Facebook group, any activity they perform in the group, whether it's like engaging with specific posts or watching certain videos, Facebook is able to track that information because it's all happening within the app. So if I wanted to run an ad, for example, let's say to like a free content creation checklist, and I had a vision, or not a vision, I had a video in my group talking about content creation, then I could run an ad to all the people who watched 50% of the video, let's say. Because someone who watched 50% of the video is way more likely to be interested in content creation than someone who only watched the first few seconds of the video. So hopefully that's like making sense there. So, just to review this, give the overarching view of this kind of Facebook ads approach that I'm going to be doing here. It's going to be running ads to give away a free resource that doesn't require any opt-in, no name, no email, no credit card. And then I can run ads to people who clicked on the previous ad, but this time it'll be for a free resource that requires people to put in their email in order to get it, or it'll require them to join the Facebook group in order to get it. And then, it's going to be running ads to people who opted in, and, invite them to the Facebook group, invite them to like another type of like online event, something that's specific and special to only those who raise their hand and say, oh, yep, I'm interested in this thing. So, now that I have people in the group, now that I have people on my email list, I can basically contact them directly. I can provide a lot of value to them for free, and it won't even really cost me anything because I don't have to run ads to get this content to those people. So then when I do promote a product, I'll be able to do so on the page or via email without having to spend money on ads. And then plus, like at this point, you can imagine people who are in the community, they're already going to know me, they're already going to trust me a bit more, which means that they're more likely to make the purchase as long as what I'm offering really provides value. Because if they're like, man, this provides a lot of value, but then they're a little bit doubtful because they're like, I don't know if I trust this guy, then it's like, well, that's not good. I'm not trying to rip people off here. But if they trust me, they're like, oh yeah, no, I know, he knows what he's talking about, and he came out with this resource about this thing that sounds really good. Well, yeah, I may as well get it. It's like, exactly. So, this approach, it's certainly longer than just trying to sell something immediately. But people online they're getting more and more accustomed to these like larger buying cycles, which basically means that they have to really get to know you and trust you before they're making a purchase. People want to be more informed. They want to feel more connected to people before making that purchase. So, my goal with this structure is to really lean into that knowledge and build a better relationship first. So I really hope that this information is going to help you, not just in your own journey for like making ads, but even content creation as well. Help you understand that like people really want to feel that they're forming this connection with the person before they're moving forward with something like following them or giving an email address or even giving someone like the credit card information, So thanks so much for listening. I really hope that, this video provided a lot of value for you. And yeah, if you think this can help a friend or a family member who is doing stuff like podcasting or social media stuff, then please, I invite you to share this with them and make sure to subscribe and rate this as well. So thanks so much for listening. I'll see you in the next episode.